Hey there guys, thanks for joining us on another board game night. Tonight we're playing a little known game, Scythe, the collector's edition from Stonemaier Games. With me I have Martin, this is his copy of the game, and he's the most experienced player here tonight in this. Then we have Alan,
hello,
our resident Molo, and myself Jason. Right, so I've actually played this game, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to hand over the reins to Martin, and he's going to give you guys a little bit of an overview of how the game works. Just a brief overview, so you're not going to learn every single rule from what he's going to say, but we will also come back after that with a gameplay turn where we'll show you a live gameplay turn, well, live, so to speak, of us playing the game, and then we'll come back at the end with our thoughts and the end of the game. So, take it away, Martin.
Okay. Right. Okay, everyone has these two boards in front of them. One of them is your race board, which is this, and the other one is your essentially your action selection board. What we're doing is pretty much selecting actions and then controlling areas of the board over here. They'll be worth various points at the end of the game. What we're actually trying to do is get 6 stars on that thing up there. So there's 10 different possible options. I won't go through all of them what they are, but essentially getting all your mechs on the board will get you 1, winning a combat will get you 1, stuff like that. Okay, so the first person to get 6 on there ends the game, and then it comes down to points, and your points are loosely based on your popularity, which is this track here. As you can see there, at the moment we're all there, and that means that all our stars are worth 3 points, all our hexes that we control are worth 2, and every 2 resources are worth 1. There's a couple of other ways to get points as well. So that's essentially what we're trying to do. And the way we do that is, if I go across the board here, we've got these 4 different action points here. So I can produce, I can move, I can bolster, I can trade. Each one's associated with bottom action as well. So that's how you get your upgrades or get your mechs and things like that. So essentially, choose an action, do it, then next person has their turn, and then when it comes back round to your turn again, you then must choose a different action to do the next turn. And then you keep doing that until 6 stars are on there and it's done. That's pretty much the game.
Fair enough. Obviously, when we do the gameplay turn, we'll explain more what we're doing and why we're doing it, that sort of thing. But yeah, it sounds pretty simple.
Yeah, it's actually is quite straightforward to play it. It's just, I think it's a good idea to have a vague idea of how you're going to get at least a few stars.
It seems like most of the game is played on a year, and this is just sort of placeholder. Almost like your player board is this massive thing, and the games are...
Well, I mean, the board is important. I mean, they say it's a 4X game, and I'm not completely sure it's 4X for a start. There's no exploration. Combat is a way to get points, but you can only get 2 from it, unless you're the race I'm playing. So really, you're not going around exterminating. You don't gain a lot from doing it. But obviously, generating resources from certain territories is important. So controlling those territories is useful. And it's, produce action. The only way to gain more people is controlling a village there to generate on them. So you do need to expand out a little bit, but. Yeah, it's hard to sort of pinpoint what kind of game it is, but action selection is at its heart, essentially. Anyway.
Alright, so we get started then?
Indeed.
Okay, so this is the gameplay turn. We've done a few rotations. Just to show you. This is how the victory point star system looks. So Alan's got 3 completed objectives. He's done all his enlisting, he's completed his private objective, and he's reached max power. Martin's had a successful attack against me. And Molo's completed one of his successful, or his secret objectives. So that's what that looks like. There's the popularity board. And what else? There's the power board. And I'm going to have to stand back to show you what the main board looks like, because it's quite large. So you can see the red empire, the yellow empire, the black empire, and the white empire. Okay. So it's Martin's go first.
So my previous turn, I did a move action, so I have to change that. So I'm going to actually go over here and do a bolster action. So I have to pay this, so 1 coin. I will get 3 power, please, on. I will also gain a popularity because I've got a monument. So that's on this track here. I'll just put that one. And then I may do the... both of these are optional, by the way, but I may do the bottom one. I am going to do that. So I'm going to deploy. So if Molo or Alan has the deploy enlist bonus, look at that. It costs me 1 metal.
So you just take one from the
one
board.
from an area I control, and I will deploy a mech. So I get 2 money for that, and I'll choose one of my mechs. I think I'm going to go with that one, and he must go in a space where I have a worker. I'm going to put that in there.
Right.
That is all she wrote.
There's Molo.
Okay, I am going to produce, I think, on... Yes, produce. Yeah. Gonna produce, knock all that stuff around.
So he chooses, is it 2 hexes or 3?
2 I've got at the moment.
So he chooses 2 hexes he controls.
Okay.
And all his workers in those hexes generate resources.
So I'll generate 1 wood for my windmill, which sort of counts as a worker. And
presumably that one, and get 3 food.
And 3 food, yes. Yeah, that'd be good. Okay.
Resources sit in hexes on the board as well. They don't actually sit in a personal supply, so you can deny people resources by attacking areas that can contain resources and kick them off.
Alright, so it goes to me now. There's one particular action I would like to do, which is the produce action. But you see there, it has a cost, which is I have to pay a power and also actually popularity. But in my fight with Martin, I spent all my power, so I can't do that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do the trading action. So I can pay 1 gold to the bank, which is what I'm going to do. And then I can take 2 resources of my choice. So I'm going to take 1, which is definitely metal. And I'm also going to take, I think, a food.
1 food.
Which I'll just stick there as well. Alright, and then, so you can see that was my top action. I'm now going to do the bottom action, which is pay 2 metal. So Alan's going to probably not benefit too much from this. And I'm going to deploy another mech. Right, he gains a power, but he's at max power.
For a mech, I get a coin.
Oh, you get a
Coin
coin.
for yeah.
But I've already enlisted there, so I'm going to get a coin from the bank.
5.
I would like a coin as well, please, Martin. And I'm going to deploy my last mech.
Oh shit.
So
Thank you.
he's going to go there. So he goes where I have workers. He's going to go there.
Yeah, you got a star!
I do! Which means I've now completed the objective of having all 4 mechs in play. And now I don't feel so lonely. And that's that action done. So now it goes to Alan.
I am going to produce. So I pay 1 energy, 1 popularity. And I'm going to gain a person here, which puts me on all 6 of my recruits out.
Jesus. All 6 of your workers, you mean?
All 6 of my workers. And I'm also going to produce a barrel as well. There. I'm then going to spend 2 barrels, get 2 coins, there you go, and do an upgrade action, and I'm going to take from here, and I'm going to make it cheaper to make a mech. That's me done.
Cool. Should we carry on?
Yeah, let's do another round.
quick.
Yeah.
I think I really want to do that, but I think that's silly. Crippled of indecision. I think I need to forge on and do that. I'm going to trade. Screw it. So it costs me 1. I'm going to gain 2 oil, I think, which I will immediately spend for an upgrade action. So, Alan Molo, if you have the upgrade benefit.
Nope.
No.
And I will move.
You do.
I should have been up there anyway, because I did that action.
There. Okay, that's me.
Okay, I am going to move. Okay, let's see. We're going to move 1 guy to there through my mine.
But before you carry on, I just want to show them quickly. So point to the move action. That's how it shows you how many move actions you got. So Molo's been upgraded that, so he's got 3 move actions, which means he can move 3 individuals, 1 space each. And the mines, obviously there's his mine over there. That gives him basically a tunnel to any of these mine areas. So that's why he's moved there. So that's 1.
Okay, I will move. Yeah, this fella to here. Okay, and this one I will move to here.
Okay. Okay, so
Should I just drop my combat card?
he's now completed his move, so now you do any fights as a consequence of that.
So with a fight, you get this cool little board, which obviously has the dial on. That allows you to use your power to spend. So obviously you can spend a maximum of 7 power, as this goes up to 7. You can't spend power you don't have, and then you can allocate a power, one of these combat cards as well. I will do. Will I do that? I can't actually win this fight, but
Well, unless you have an awesome
That's not
card.
true. You can add 2 cards, 3 cards.
I can. But I've only got 1 card.
Oh.
Ironically, my next action was going to get
The
rid of some-
reason, basically, he can add a card for each mech or character he's got in there, and also one of his mech abilities is if he's having a fight where there's a worker, he can add another card.
All right. So I'm going to add that.
Okay, I got mine.
Okay. So we flip it over. I got 2.
Okay, spending 1 combat and 5, so 6 in total.
That is me defeated.
Did you draw a card when you lost the fight against me, by the way?
I didn't know.
Probably should have then. You need to draw one now. When you lose a fight, as long as your power is 1 or greater, you gain a card
Okay,
back.
what is this?
Because that would have helped, potentially.
Okay, and knock one of mine off if you haven't done that already.
I've already done that.
All right. So where does my stuff go? When you
Retreat back to your home base.
everything, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right. Milo would lose popularity for each worker that retreats there, which is 1. But he's got a mech which stops him from having to lose popularity to do that. He's basically a peasant beater-upper.
Yeah.
All right. So now it's
Put on a
back to
good
my
show,
turn.
that's what it
That
is.
also gets you a.
Start?
Yep. So that's what the star situation looks like. It's racking up pretty quickly.
Yeah, we need to pull our things out, I think. It's fair to say.
Right, my action
Moving a lot
might
quicker than
change
I
now.
thought it was going to.
Alright, so I can actually do the same action twice if I want to. But there's no my bottom action is finished already. I can't deploy any more mechs, so there's no real need for that. So I'm going to go over here. I'm going to pay a gold. And then I can bolster, which gives me 3 power, which is much needed. And then I can also do my second action, which I've upgraded now, so I only need to pay 1 food, which I'll pay that food to the bank, and then I can enlist. So I can take any one of these actions, so that one, if anyone does, the enlist action will give me cards, but I'm going to do this one, which is the build one. So that is going to go there, and I'm going to drop that into one of these slots, so I can either gain 2 more cards, 2 money, or 2 power. I'm going to gain 2 power. So put me up another 2 power there, Alan. Cool. And then,
Pass me a combat card, please.
sure.
Thank you. Right, I am going to do a bolster, so that costs me 1. I'll get 2 combat cards for that, please.
It's getting a bit fighty around here.
Yeah, totally. And I'm going to then spend 1 combat card instead of a wood, and I'm going to build a monument. There. And I then get 1 popularity,
Did you
please.
build?
Yeah.
It's popularity for me as well. Thank you very
And
much.
I get 3 coins. Could you pass me a 3, please?
Oh, I get a popularity as well, because I got the build.
Just to say, there's basically one of the upgrades. Obviously, you benefit from your neighbours doing that action. That's what we're getting there.
As Martin pointed out to me earlier, this little action thing shows you it's you in the middle plus your 2 neighbours.
And I'm done.
Okay, so
Another?
that's 2 full rotations. So we'll come back to you when we're done.
Down here.
All right. So we have finished off the game, and we tallied up the scores. So I'll give you a quick look at how the board looks. This is what the victory point stars look like. Martin ended the game by placing 2 stars on his turn, which was quite a surprise. I never saw that coming. That's what the popularity track looks like. That's what the power track looks like. Pretty pitiful. So a quick scan of the board. So in 4th place, or as we like to know, last, Molo.
In Molo place.
Yeah, Molo place. 37 points, wasn't it, Molo?
36.
36.
Yeah, don't give him extra points.
Oh,
man.
yeah.
He did that on purpose.
Actually, I didn't do that much better. I got 56 with my Red Empire. And then second place was Martin, was 68. And the winner by 2 points, Alan, 70 points. Well, there we go. So, Alan, you played this once before, haven't you?
Yeah, I played it on Tuesday.
And you've played this a couple of times as well, haven't you, Mark?
This is my 4th game now.
And me and Milo played it for the first time.
Indeed.
That was really
And I
interesting.
have to say, I think the scores probably reflect that as well, because I think it's one of those games where you need to have played it before
Yeah.
and kind of have an understanding of what you're doing.
Yeah, I was saying to you halfway through the game that mechanically it's very easy to understand, but strategically it's like, I'm not really sure what I'm going for yet.
Yeah.
It's very much a game of chess because you're planning like 8-10 moves ahead.
Well, you might have been.
Yeah. No, that was good. That was interesting. I was just saying, Martin, when he ended, because the game ends dead when someone gets the 6th star, and I was going to basically do my last upgrade, which would have got me another star, and I was going to take a few more territories.
Yeah.
So I lost a
That would
lot
get
of
you
points.
Well, yeah, at least another 4 points by doing that.
Yeah.
I was only 2 turns away from, I think, 2 stars myself as well. But it moved really quickly. I
Yeah,
was
it starts
taken
off
completely off
kind of like a slow burn, and then all of a sudden it goes into
Yeah.
overdrive, and people are racking up the stars.
Well, you were putting pressure on me because you sat on 5 stars for a while, and I was thinking that's why I did 2 in 1 turn then, because I thought if you get an extra star, I'm not going to get anything here. I need to press for that. That's why I did it.
Yeah.
But as it turned out, I could have scored another bloody objective as well. I didn't realise.
Because you got the faction that allows you to do objectives multiple, and same with the
Yeah.
stars, isn't it right? You can do the same star twice, is that right? Oh no, it was just objectives.
Combat and objectives, I can score multiple times.
Right. Right, so what did I think of the game? I actually thought the game was quite interesting. I love the tactile nature or the sort of visual nature of having the resources on the board. I think that's really cool. It's also kind of a strategic thing because you're trying
It's a
to
bit of a
protect
shame the
it.
buildings don't look a bit nicer, actually.
Yeah. Especially because
They're almost
it's like
ignorable
viticulture.
as well. You can sort of overlook that there's a building even in there.
Yeah. I mean, what did you think?
I
Alan?
fucking love this game.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really like it. It's nice because I can plan ahead. I mean, obviously plans don't work out all the time, but you know, there's no kind of random element in it. It's very much a case of this is what I'm doing, this is how I want to progress. You know, it's kind of you don't have a direct tech tree, but you have a kind of progression path that's a path of least resistance depending on which route you took. I mean, for me, I went with enlisting loads, so whenever you guys did any of the secondary actions,
You get a
I
lot
got
of money
benefits.
from that in power.
And you know, for me, it meant that anytime you guys were doing anything, I was just getting more powerful.
Well, you gained
I shot
about
it.
10,
yeah.
12 power easily from that. I don't know
Yeah.
how many upgrades you did yourself, but just from me and Jason doing it.
Yeah.
And I think probably one of us should have attacked him when he was getting closer. Although that means you would have had a lot of power to fight us off
Well,
with.
yeah,
Yeah.
it was basically a free star.
Yeah, so, well, that's interesting. Yeah, so what we were saying? How much would you rate this out of 10? 10?
I wouldn't rate it a 10 at the moment until I've seen what the expansion is. On this game as it is, I think it's a solid 10. But I'd want to see what the expansion is like and see how that
As far as
plays
I
out.
can gather, all it does, and I say all in inverted commas, is add the other 2 races. I don't think it adds a lot of anything else. It's just like the other 2 races.
Does it add
now.
new playerboards? Because the playerboards are all variable.
Yeah, I
aren't they?
believe, obviously, you get the 2 faction boards, but then I think there's another couple of these things as well, just to add a bit of variety in there. But I don't think it does much beyond that, like rules. I could be wrong, but from what I can gather...
So you're saying a 10 as it is now?
Actually, thinking about it, there are a few things I'd change. I don't like the buildings. I agree on that. They're not. I mean, you look at the resources, and I know these are upgraded. These are better ones.
What do the normal resources look like?
They're fairly
wood
yeah.
resources.
Yeah. I mean, they're fine, functional.
Yeah, but I'd like to have seen upgraded wooden pieces because, you know, I was looking across the board, and because it's a large board, you can easily kind of think, well, there's two workers in there when you've
Absolutely, yeah.
Well, when I went
got
through
that.
there, you thought it was a meeple standing there.
Yeah. The other thing is, I can see what they tried to do with these cards. These are kind of random encounter cards that you get anytime you see one of these tokens on the board. That one there. And I can see what they've tried to. They've tried to kind of give a visual interpretation of what's happening in that event. and then you have to pick how you're going to deal with that encounter. But I think that could be done differently and in some ways better.
Yeah, I kind of agree. I find the events feel like almost like they're tacked on. Like they don't really provide anything. I don't know.
Well, they're trying to tell a story,
but
it's completely disjointed to the rest of the game.
What we were saying midway through the game as well. I would actually have preferred it to have been a bit more direct. This is what you've encountered, blah blah blah. These are your options, rather than because they purposely not put a title on the things. They've just put a picture there and left you to fill in the blanks. So some people might like that. I actually prefer the kind of story shoved down your throat a little bit more.
Yeah. All right, fair enough. How about you, Martin? What do you think?
I think it's good. I'm still not completely in the I think it's great camp, although I'm prepared to admit that it could go into that point. I've played it 4 times now. I think it's good. There's a few slight issues I have. My major one, I think, revolves around this track. I actually would prefer it to be like a bell curve or something, because it's so powerful that you almost can't ignore it. And it slightly bugs me, because there are lots of options on these things and lots of things that you can lose popularity for, but it's so penalising that you really can't afford to do that, and so you can't indulge in being evil, if you like. I would prefer, because you get star out of hitting the top as well, and it's worth so many, I would prefer that to sort of dip down the other side, so the major points are kind of in the middle and then it drops down again. I found that irritating, because it's usually the people highest up will smash the others.
Yeah.
And I don't know, Alan had a lot of money, which is probably what did at that time, but otherwise I think I'd have pretty much walked it if it wasn't for the fact you had 30 money or whatever you had. But it's a minor niggle, and I've said about those and that sort of thing. But I think, generally speaking, it's good. There is a bit of, you said it's low random, there is some random, the objective cards are random, some of them are crazy difficult compared to others, which is, I suppose it's unavoidable in a way, but it is irritating. Someone gets an easy objective to do and other people have to really fight hard or plan their entire game around how they're going to score that one objective. And yes, I appreciate you can ignore your objective cards, that's fine, there are other ways to score points, but it's one less string to your bow, if you like, doing that. But generally speaking, I think it's a good game, and I think I'd probably score it an 8, I think.
8? Yeah, I kind of go with your sentiments as well. It's like, I think after my first play, I'm pretty satisfied that this is a good game. It's got lots of replayability in terms of the different factions and the different ways to score. But I thought, like you were saying about this track here, right at the beginning of the game, before even starting, I've not even played this game already, I was already thinking, well, that track seems to be the one that you have to focus on the most, because this is where you get all your points from. And then obviously we had the little scoring thing, which is also different every game. And that was the one where you have things next to the lakes, which is quite cool. I like the fact that changes every game, so you can't build the same strategy over and over. But this popularity one does seem like it's the most powerful. And those things over there, they were the event cards. It almost seems like I also like the idea of having rather not a choice there, because you always choose like the one that gives you popularity the more often than not.
I mean, this is an example here. This one here. So there's the picture, and the bottom option here: steal the soldier's mech while he's out napping. Pay 3 popularity to gain a mech. I mean, 3 popularity can make a massive difference, and you're dropping. So yeah, okay. So let's say Molo did that. Yay, I've got my last mech on the board, so I've got a star, but all of my stars are now worth 1 less coin. So actually, point-wise, it's less points for him. It's a detriment to him. It's crazy debilitating, I think. I think I like the kind of the variability of the points. I mean, I'd almost prefer it to maybe mix up the numbers a little bit rather than just steadily go up. Maybe make stars worth more, but territory's worth less, or something like that.
You could have
you can steer your game a little bit
better. You could easily have like little layover things that just change them up so they're different each time. So
maybe
you go for a territory area control thing, which gives you a lot of points, but you'll lose not as many points for resources.
I like the idea of the variable point scoring thing. I just think they've put too much emphasis on high popularity is good across the board. I feel that there needs to be some detriment to it because it's too powerful. That's just my feeling anyway.
You don't. I mean, apart from spending it on encounters, you don't really spend it anywhere else.
Well, when you attack, but it basically means, well, I'm not gonna. I mean, you had like lone workers here. I was never going to attack you because it's just too painful.
Yeah,
that was one of the reasons I was happy to put them out and get the area control with them.
That was my other thing I was thinking. Like combat just seems like, meh, you might as well bother. These things are just cool looking farmers or soldier guards or something like that. Because attacking, other than for that one victory point that you get like that, or 1 star, it just doesn't seem.
I mean, it's worth saying this is not a combat game.
No,
I mean, we played last night and we had like 1, maybe 2 combats in the whole game, and in this there was only 4, 5, something like that. 4 combats, and we played for hour and a half, 2 hours, whatever it was.
But it seems to be it's unusual because there seems to be a lot of components for the combat thing. I mean, you got these discs, you got these stacks of combat cards, you got all these mechs with different abilities plus your hero. It almost feels like they got
sculpted miniatures across the board,
all
with unique abilities and everything, and yet combat's such a minor part of it.
It's like that's really weird.
Well, maybe it's future-proof slightly, and maybe there are plans that combat will either have a greater emphasis, or like mechs and characters will have a greater emphasis later on.
Well, I mean,
that will do something else.
With my faction, had I have realised it earlier on in the game, I could have been bodging them about and pushing away people's farmers with the upgrade to prevent me from losing popularity and thus destroying everybody else's area control. But if that's the only faction that can do anything positive from combat, then no.
The power thing also seems steered to combat as well. Like you need power to do combat, but the combat is such a little thing.
Power is a phenomenally powerful resource in this game because you can't produce without it. There's what else are you using it for?
That's it.
Is that it? Literally,
but
producing
is a really powerful. It's one of the main actions I think you're going to take. That and the move action are probably the 2 that you'll take the most. Your point is valid.
I think it's more powerful to have power than it is to have popularity. In all seriousness.
Well. During the game, yes, you're absolutely right.
Oh, totally. Yeah.
But at the end of the game,
power
is meaningless. Yeah.
I mean, for me, I actually, as my first play, I enjoyed the game. I thought it was good. I'm definitely looking forward to playing it again. It's got really good components that, well, Martin's copy does, at least.
Well, it's the collector's edition. They come with better components, basically. Yeah.
And I really like the idea of the variant scoring, the variant different. I'm really looking forward to seeing how other objectives come up and how different races play with different player boards. That's really clever, and I really like that a lot. So I'm really looking forward to seeing how a different strategy might work. But at the moment, I'm only going to give it a 7.5, which will definitely probably go up to an 8 when I play it again, because I think it's good, but I don't think it'll ever go more than an 8.
Funny enough, I was actually of the same mindset, but I've played it a few more times now, and I think it's better than a 7.5 now. But one of the things you said there about the variability of the boards and stuff, I actually think that there perhaps isn't enough variability in it to change it around. I mean, while each race is different, they have their racial abilities and whatnot, there are only 5 races, and okay, your top board changes, but it's quite minor tweaks. Everything's moved around and stuff, but ultimately you've got all the same actions. They just cost a little bit different and give you different benefits and whatnot generally, but they're basically the same. And then you've got that, as far as I'm concerned, that's pretty much the only randomized element. So it's not going to be hugely different.
This almost seems like a game that needs 5 or 6 players almost. There's no downtime really to speak of. The turns go really quick.
Moving,
And I reckon, although we were noticing that some of the races are going to be attached to the mainland without riverwalk abilities, but I reckon this game could be quite good as a 5 or 6 player. As a 2 or 3. Can this play 2?
I think so. I think you can play solo as well. How the hell that works.
1 to 5 apparently, yeah.
I can't see this being good as a 2 player.
I don't know if the expansion lets you play 6 or 7 players. It just adds a 6th and 7th race. It may do. I'm not sure yet.
Right. Okay, well, fair enough. How about you, Milo? What did you think?
Yes, I quite enjoyed it. I got a little bit lost in the sort of moving out, doing the farming thing, and didn't pay too much attention to the scoring, which did show a little.
Well, yeah, I mean, one more popularity and your score would have been probably 10 points higher.
Yeah.
Oh no, I was there. We did that for the example earlier. But yeah.
Just trying to help you, man.
Yeah, you were just shit.
But yeah, I quite enjoyed it. I like moving about, and I would say again, the flaws are there. If you don't concentrate on pushing up your popularity, you suffer for it. And if you don't expand quickly enough, you suffer from it, which again isn't a flaw, I don't think. That was more just where the speed of the game caught me off guard that I didn't expand out enough. But yeah, I like it. I would say probably the same as you, 7.5, but I'd need to play it a few more times before I got any sort of idea of it.
Fair enough. Well, there you go. So there's our general thoughts. Anyone have anything else to add?
I think we've pretty much explored everything.
Yep. So that's our thoughts on Scythe.
I will say, it does look lovely. I mean,
Yeah,
the board
yeah.
is
Well, I don't think
striking almost.
I don't think I've seen a game from Stonemaier that doesn't look good.
No, I mean, this is exceptionally nice looking. It really is. I mean, if you're a bit of a component whore,
Which you are.
yeah, I do. I mean, the miniatures are fine. They're good. You know, they don't have to have been these plastic sculpts, but the board and the art and stuff. I mean, these cards look amazing as well. So if you do appreciate art in games, it's definitely one worth checking out.
And components.
And I mean, it's an area control game. The sort of style of game that's easy to pick up, and you know, we're all saying, oh, it's a good game. It's around 7.5, 8.5. But it's never going to be a lower game than that as well. It's great. It's solid for what it does.
Yeah, I think that's probably fair to say, though.
Yeah. Well, the same as I said. It won't go lower than 8, but I don't think it'll ever go higher than 8 either. All right. Well, there we go. Thank you very much, Stonemaier Games, for making Scythe, and we'll move on to our next game. Thank you.